Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I'm going to be showing you footage of the Web Warriors and talking about this team, whether or not I think they're worth upgrading, and what I'm seeing from the team on the test survey. I got to tell you, I'm going to show you this footage I recorded. One thing I will say about this team is I think that the way this team is designed is actually very sneaky by Scopely. It's a team that is designed to work together, and you really basically need to have the whole team to get the benefits of a lot of it. You know, a lot of teams, let's say like the Axemen, for example, have passives where a lot of it is in, let's say, Jubilee's kit. You know, you have to use Jubilee for the Axemen to work, right? Well, to basically force you to unlock that legendary. What they've done here is something much more devious than that. If you go to the passives of these characters and you look, you'll see that each one of these characters has a passive that does something for the entire team that's really important. So here on spawn, this is giving 2 death proof and offense up for 2 turns, but only on the full team, right? And then this character does something really important. So this is the Scarlet Spider. On turn, he applies evade to 2 random Web Warrior allies that do not have evade on his turn. That's huge. That's huge. Evade is really what gets the whole engine going for this team. If you have evade, you get essentially, as long as the enemy's attack isn't unavoidable, you get 100% damage is mitigated, right? You don't suffer any damage at all. Plus, there's bonuses when you dodge. You get the speed bar and stuff, which I'm going to show you later. But that, if you don't have Scarlet Spider, you don't get the evades. Okay, so that's a huge problem. So you kind of have to have that, right? And then here, on a successful attack from the Web Warriors, he's healing 3% in raids. Okay, so that's really important for this team, right? I mean, that's a big deal. That's actually replacing some of the symbiote healing that wasn't there before. Now, here, look at this. If you don't have Miles on the team, you don't get speed up when you dodge. Well, the characters of the team have some natural dodge. Okay, you saw that with Scarlet Spider. You see that Spider-Man, for example, has natural dodge. Miles, you could see in stealth, has dodge. But when they die, they also, of course, are getting those evades from Scarlet Spider. So, the speed up, what does that mean? 50% greater speed generation, okay? That obviously helps the team. If you don't have Miles, you don't get that. Maybe that's a little bit expendable. He might be the one that you would end up dropping. But, man, speed up is so important. 50% faster speed. This is a turn-based game. Now you look at her. This is Ghost Spider. This is a Spider-Gwen, whatever you want to call her. Web Warrior allies get 25% more damage. So you lose 25% of your damage if you don't have her. And the team starts with speed up and evade on the entire team with her. And she puts ability energy on the team. So, geez, of course you're going to want her on your team, right? So you can't, this is important. I mean, in some ways, though, she's not, even though I'd say she has the strongest kit, it's not, her passive isn't, stand alone as strong as some of the others. Okay, then look at this. This character, by the way, this is Spider-Punk, maybe the least important passive, although offense up being applied whenever anybody on the team dodges, which, of course, with the evades, they're going to have a lot of that. Getting offense up means 50% more damage. Okay, so that's really important. All right. And then 30% crit chance for the entire team. That's a lot of damage there, right? And the point is, on every passive, something very important that requires you to have the full team. And oh, yeah, by the way, even OG Spider-Man, they updated to give him a key passive so you don't leave him off. Whenever anybody in the team dodges, you fill the speed bar of that character by 10%. And when negative effects are applied, he applies all these positive effects to the team. So they basically made it so if you don't buy these 3 new characters or unlock, or just get them through whatever means and build them up and build the 2 old characters, the team just doesn't quite do everything it's supposed to do. And I was planning to use this video to try to come up with hybrid teams because I think for most of us, we have symbiotes built up. You can't build up 5 new characters from scratch all the way up to gear tier 15 or 16 or whatever to try to replace this team. That just doesn't work for most players. And so I was going to try to find hybrids, but I just don't think that there are hybrids that work. Okay, so now one thing I do want to say, though, just to be clear, this team is better than the symbiotes and raids, and I'll show you one obvious reason why. If you go here, look at the damage. 35k damage. All these characters have the same gear tier, same star. 7 yellow, 4 red. Gear tier 15. Look at the damage here. 35k on Scarlet Spider. 35k on Miles. 39k on Ghost Spider. 31k on Spider-Punk. And 31k on Spider-Man. Now, that doesn't even account the fact that they get 25% more damage from like the passive, plus they get offense up all the time, which is 50% more than that. If you compare that to the symbiotes, just looking at the base damage, right? Anti-Venom, 25k. SSM is 29k. Scream, 33 is the highest, but then Carnage, 20. Venom, 24. So, this team just... the symbiotes have much lower damage. So obviously this team is better. But let's go to 2.3. I'm going to go through all 3 nodes with 2.3. And one thing I'm just going to say before I go through this, okay? I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to go through the whole bio node with the team, but I just want to say this. So I run Doom 2.3 every day with the symbiotes and usually clearing a full lane. I don't always get the boss because somebody else might get the boss, but I certainly am always clearing the first 2. I'm used to the nodes with symbiotes. I was not used to them with this team, and I don't know the kits that well. So I'm sure I'm going to get some of you saying, oh, you screwed up. You should have done this. You should have done that. I know. I literally was just on my iPad testing out the team for the first time. It's the first time I played this team. Didn't know the abilities that well. But I want to show you something when you see this team. Okay, so I'm going to use the full team here. I didn't really think about positioning. I literally just sort of threw them down. Okay, here's the team. I used the ISO that was chosen by the devs. I didn't even look at the ISO or anything like that. This is my first time playing with the team. But I want to tell you something. This is my first time playing with the team. And what I'm comparing it to is essentially my first time playing with the New Warriors, my first time playing with the Secret Avengers, that sort of thing. Okay, those are the teams that I am trying to, in my mind, compare this to. All right. Now, by the way, there is a timer here. It's cut off on my screen, but it is. I can see it. You can't on the video here because of how I have my screen set up here. But I am taking my time and looking at the abilities because I'm not really worried about timing out. I know that there's plenty of damage in this team. I don't time out on these nodes with the symbiotes who have a lot lower damage. So I'm taking my time and looking through the abilities. But one thing I think you're seeing here is, okay, this team is, not really having a lot of problems with the node. So that's good, right? That's something that, seems good. But I will tell you, if you keep watching the video, you're going to notice some things that may disturb you a little bit. Now, I usually try to go for him early. That was a mistake this time. I was trying to do something fancy because there's some new abilities. But take a look at something here. Now, one other thing I probably do with this is that you don't need to do. One advantage of this team is that you don't need to preserve your cooldowns, and I tend to over-preserve them at times because you have the refill of ability energy. But one thing you're going to notice here is the Elsas are going to really do a lot of damage because Elsa Bloodstone has damage that hurts, a passive that does damage whenever you dodge, and this team dodges a lot. So you're really going to have to deal with those Elsas quite a bit. I didn't, I'm used to taking out the Black Bolt here, in this spot, but really the Elsas are way more important when you use the Web Warriors. But one thing I just want to show you here, and you'll see, is this. Yes, there's no timeout issue with this team, without a doubt, but it is definitely not it's definitely not like a super easy one. One thing I think you can see is when this team gets hit, they rely a lot on dodge, okay? So when the team actually gets hit, they get hurt quite a bit. You can see Spider Punk over here. Look how low his damage is. Dodge is great because it's 100% damage reduction. But what you're seeing here is this team, they designed it around dodge, so when it does get hit, there's just huge problems for the team. Because they can't, if they give the team tons of health and dodge, then the team is unstoppable. So, okay, this team got through the node, but my symbiotes always end up at full health. Now, they don't finish it with as much time remaining. I mean, that literally I could have blown through that if I was, clicking quickly or in auto or whatever. But the health was the issue. All right, let's try it now. And I didn't play it perfectly, but it wasn't a rousing success. Now let's look at this node. Now this node's a little trickier. You have the file of L's, and one thing I will just say is because the abilities are totally different, the way you play this is totally different. I don't know the abilities super well. This is me just trying to think for the first time on the fly, while I'm sitting in my kitchen, how best to do this. But I think one thing I will just say is with this node, it was not like 100% clear to me that this team was, blowing through this node. In fact, I think as I puzzled through this one, I will say that the symbiotes were not as good, I don't think. I think on balance, the symbiotes are worse. But this team does not have the sort of overpowering element to it that Secret Avengers and New Warriors had. When Secret Avengers were released, I will say that there was Doom 1.1 at the time, and they just blew through Doom 1.1. I mean, it was so easy. It was literally, it was almost audible. I mean, it was just ridiculously easy with that team. Then New Warriors in 2.3, which I'm running now, that's what this is. I got to say that, New Warriors are so easy. I one-shot the boss node, the Mystic boss node, in 2.3 on my first try. And I routinely one-shot it, no matter who the 4th and 5th are. Whether you use Adam, Warlock, and Surfer, whether I'm using the Eternals, whatever, okay? Now, here you're seeing I lost a character, etc. Now, I think it's fair to say I don't really know the abilities well. I don't, I haven't thought about how to use them here. But here's the thing. This team, at the very least, takes more finesse to play well. Because I will tell you, with the New Warriors, I just press buttons, and it was trivial. Look at this, by the way. Look at where my team is at. I haven't made perfect choices, but this is something. This is something. On 2.3, I will just say that obviously these characters are lower red star than the characters that I use, the symbiotes that I use. And now I have a couple symbiotes at teal gear, although I don't think that matters. I was running it for a long time without that. So sure, my symbiotes are all 6 and 7 red, and these are not. And I know the symbiote's abilities very well, and I know exactly which attacks to use, which abilities to use, in what order. But I will just say that when I first used New Warriors on the Mystic lanes, it was a joke. When I used Secret Avengers, it was a joke. This team, doesn't have that same feel to me. It just doesn't. It's better, but I feel like they were concerned about making it too much better. And I got to tell you, that really that means something to me. And you're going to continue to see and we're going to go through the boss node as well. But you're going to continue to see that in 2.3, this team just is good. And I think it genuinely is better. And on paper, it should be better. But it's just not the leap forward to me that the New Warriors were, or that the Secret Avengers were. And so as a result, I am seriously considering, and I want you to discuss this I want your opinion in the comments. I'm seriously considering for the first time not gearing up these characters to max on my roster. I've done that every month, and I've already kind of mentioned to Scopely. I mean, they're making this test server available. They didn't even update my account quickly enough. And I have a symbiotes team that's doing the job. So I don't know. I really don't know whether or not this team makes a lot of sense for me and for my account. The only reason I would be upgrading this team is for your edification, for you guys to see it. So I'd be interested in your take on it, how you feel about it. But I will just say, from seeing their performance, I'm not overwhelmed. I mean, right now, my symbiote team, sure, sometimes I have to do a 2-tap because if I'm not paying attention, I could time out. Okay. Occasionally I'll have a heal, but frankly, this team, I may need more. It's not clear to me how big of a improvement this is. One thing I will say, this team has less control. That actually was a slight issue for me on this note. You're going to see that I didn't think about the fact that I have only only a couple real abilities that can control here. So I use her ability block here without thinking about the fact that I need to save that for Doom because I got nothing else. I don't have multiple abilities that do it. Now, you might say, well, wait, Philosopher, do the symbiotes? I mean, you have the ability block on Venom. You kind of need to save that one for Doom. I think that's fair to say, although I do have the turn rewind with Scream and so forth. I just don't know the abilities as well here. And I will say, you're going to see here a pretty disappointing result. I was thinking, okay, I'm getting off to a good start. I'm focusing on Rescue because she has a cleanse of the debuffs. And one mistake here, I did not put the slow on Doom. So you could definitely see misplays here. I was just, like I said, I was just clicking around and learning this stuff for the first time. I don't know how much not putting that slow mattered there. You saw I was able to spread the slow to Doom. But I'm going to run into some problems here. And I don't know. What I will just say to you is that's not how how the New Warriors and Secret Avengers felt to me. Now, to be clear, this team, I think, is superior to symbiotes. I don't think that there's any surprise about that. I think they've been programmed to be superior. But I do think that it may be the case that the devs had a little bit of trouble balancing out this team with dodges and some of the things they were trying to do. So here you see I wasn't able to control Doom. He ults and basically the whole thing turns around. This is a character, by the way, I still get people telling me that Doom isn't as good as they think he is. He's really great. He's an amazing character. So my team basically wipes here because I get in a hole due to Doom. So, I mean, sure, can you misplay with the new Warriors or Secret Avengers? Yeah, sure. Particularly in 2.3, but, it's pretty hard with the new Warriors, honestly, to misplay. And I would also say that Secret Avengers came out a while ago, okay? So Secret Avengers, to me, were balanced to destroy 1.1. Sure, they have a harder time with 2.3, but it's an older team. So this year I quit out, and I have to go back in. And once I go back in and I'm like, okay, I screwed up. I made that one key mistake. I do a lot better. So I don't want to give you the impression that this team's bad. This was just literally my first run through with this team. And I'm not, right now going to be spending many hours studying the team and really learning it. At this stage, okay, I don't even have the characters on my roster yet, but I think the footage speaks for itself. And I'm very interested in what you think. I'm going to have a video where once I get some comments from you guys and I play the team some more, I am going to play the team quite a bit. I am going to put out a video regarding how to make the right decision for your roster. I think this is very roster dependent. Some of you haven't invested in symbiotes yet. Some of you are in a position where you have an investment, but you really need to upgrade your symbiotes, like you haven't upgraded them to, you haven't upgraded them to where you need for 2.2 or 2.3. By the way, see here, trauma, you can get trauma. This is the first team that uses trauma other than Weapon X, and you could see, you can use trauma and stun on Doom to control him. So that's kind of your second, method of controlling Doom. And, like I said, it's the sort of thing that I think I would learn through experience with this team. So I do plan to, before I put out that video making a recommendation more broadly, I do plan to use this team a lot more. So this is, I would call, initial impressions more than anything. It's the sort of thing that you would get when an unlock video. Like if I was just unlocking this team for the first time, this would be my impressions of how the team plays on an unlock. And my initial impression is, I'm not. It's actually it is not as strong as I thought it was going to be. And so for me, like I said, I'm going to study this team hard. I will definitely do a video very soon because I know some of you. We're going to have Spider-Gwen coming out shortly. Some of you are going to have to make decisions about an offer or how hard to go on or how hard to gear for or whatever. And I will do my best to try to give you an informed decision there. But I will say for my account personally, it says something, I think, that I am not going out of my way to push these characters. That is something that I do generally, not just because the channel, that's a big part of it, but partly because that's just also a pretty good idea for, something to do for my roster. Here, I'm really not so sure. As I said in the prior video, I really think that this entire update, this particular patch, is just a bit of a trap, full of characters that we really don't need, that aren't super top meta, that sort of thing. So yeah, like I said, and this video is interesting. The footage is interesting. Of course, it's been an interesting team to play. I will play it more. I'm going to get my opinions more refined over time. But my initial impression, And I'm interested in your comments. So please put your comments below. Tell me what you think. If you think that my initial impressions are worthless because I don't know the team well enough, fair. Be interested in your thoughts on that. If you think, hey, no, Philosopher, we really want you to go hard out on this team, say it. If you agree with me and like I should hold my roster, I shouldn't hold my roster back or, blow all that gear, let me know that too. I'm interested in what you think. Please put your comments below. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. You can also put some comments on my Discord. I'd love to have some discussion about what to do this patch on there. That's linked below as well. And there's also a discussion on my Twitch stream that will start tomorrow. I will be streaming the unlock of Spider-Gwen. Just not sure how high I'm going to take her. So please check out my Twitch stream. That's linked below as well.